Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday Coffee
I'm
Chat.
being.
Lindsay,
Hey,
you're
y'all.
home?
I'm not at home. No. Actually, I'm in a virtual reality bubble right now. And what you see is me looking like I'm in a car. I even got a seatbelt just to make sure it was real
Cute.
looking.
all those new filters and backgrounds and stuff are so clever.
They're just so fancy.
Well,
Oh,
I'm
look at
also in
this.
a new location, although I'm still in my home.
You, oh, Neely on location.
Yeah. Well, we rearranged some stuff in the
That's a good
house, and
time.
so this might be a new location. I'm still working on, all of it. I'm still working on my
Yeah.
lighting and all the stuff.
Lighting is always a tricky thing. Tricky.
Yes, yes. Judy is here from New Mexico, and Blaze is here. Hello.
Hello.
Infinitely blessed. Hello, everyone. Jack says we can see out of your window. There you go.
Well, that's really advanced AI right there for you.
Rickwin is here. Hello. Platte River Keto. Finally catching you live again now that tax season is over. Oh man, I bet that's a relief. Woo.
No doubt.
Cindy is here and Haley is here. And Lynette is here. Hello.
Hi, y'all. We're so excited that we get to see Lynette in person in like a weekish.
Yes. That is
So
going to be
exciting.
so exciting. We are leaving in just a few days. So I am currently in stress mode trying to get everything done that I need to get done before we leave. And then hopefully, as soon as we walk out the door, drive down the road, the stress will just melt away. That's what I'm
Yeah, I
hoping.
give yourself probably like 20 miles down the road before it's like, okay, I can't change anything now. So I'm just
Right.
going to own it. We're just going to
Yeah.
live right here in this place.
Yeah. Well, I'm realizing all the things I forgot.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Whenever we leave the house to go somewhere, I'll always double check with the kids, like, hey, did you get this thing? And we'll be, 5 or 6 minutes down the road. And my husband will look at me and say, we can't change it now. So what's
Yeah.
the difference? And I'm like, that's a good point. That's a really good point.
Yeah. So do you have a drink? I mean, you always have a drink. I know that.
I
When you
do.
yeah. Yes.
We are, the coffee is gone. The coffee has been consumed and it is empty at this point. But there was coffee.
Okay.
Now we have
As
the
long as
water
we're
right
done.
now.
I have my half decaf with cream, like usual.
Yeah. Just sitting nice and pretty in that little half calf spot.
Yep. It's working out pretty well for me.
Good.
So Lindsay, her connection may be a little wonky. I mean, this advanced AI can't do everything,
It
but
really
so
can't.
she might drop out. And we're planning on sticking around here maybe like 30 minutes or so. So a little
Yep.
shorter than normal. Because, we all got things to do, places to be.
That's right. That's right. I am currently in the place where I no longer worry about the things that may or may not have been forgotten, but
Yeah,
I'm in the
good.
place of how do we adjust if we don't have the thing we need?
Yes. Yeah, you're in survival mode. It's like there's no
It,
planning and preparing. It's just like, what do we need to do to survive today?
right. We just MacGyver everything from this point forward.
Yes. Sing It is here. Hello. And
Howdy.
LiveHard6468 is here from North Carolina. Welcome. Oh, and Suzanne is here. If I wasn't moving into a new house at the end of the month, I would love to join up on some of the extra adventures Keto Chow is doing with you guys on your trip. Yes, that would have been
That would
fun.
have been so fun.
But moving into a new house is a lot of work. Oh
It
man.
really is.
Yeah. But she'll be at the meetup. Yay.
Very cool.
Yes. Patty is here. Hello. And
Aw.
Amber is here.
I don't know if my AI is going to give me thumbs up or not.
Oh, uh-oh.
No,
You've
maybe
lost your power.
for now.
Yeah. Okay. I had a question for you, Lindsay.
I don't know if I have answers, but we'll try.
Well, we'll try. So what are some strategies of yours for being healthy and happy during vacation time?
Ooh,
Because
that's
we're
an
both
interesting.
going into that little season right now. So it's been on my mind.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think part of it comes down to finding the things that you do like and then being able to have those with you. So
Mhm.
while we vacation, we don't really have unlimited access to the kitchen anymore. We don't have unlimited access to the pantry, to our tools, our appliances, and all that stuff. So it's like whatever you have, or whatever you can get at a grocery store, that's what you can do. But you're just a lot more limited. And so I think I find that the strategy for me is it it's kind of hard to sort of just like describe, but basically, when I'm on the road, I do not snack hardly at
Mhm.
all. Like a little bit, but not the same as I do at home. So it actually is like a built-in strategy. Some people they snack while they're driving and riding and stuff, but for me, I don't tend to eat consistently as someone collects snacks in the AI car over here. they're, they're pecans,
Oh,
but
no,
I'm
not
not
pecans. You can at
not
least pick something that you don't
pecans.
like.
Yeah, there are plenty of things that I don't care for, but I found that because they're just like they're right there in the snack bag, but they're not like calling my name
Yeah,
because
good.
I intentionally sit down to eat, whenever we sit down for breakfast or for having lunch in the road or in the road on the road.
Please don't have
Um,
lunch on the road.
I'll do my best. Otherwise, we're gonna wind up like the armadillos we keep passing.
That's a good tip for being happy and healthy on vacation is don't eat in the road.
But for me, I think that I just don't snack as much in general when we're on the road. Another piece of the puzzle is we don't have unlimited access to coffee. And coffee is one of those things that I just do all the live long day
Mm,
when I am not being intentional about stuff. So it's kind of like for my brain, the road actually is the limiting factor, and so I don't just go hog wild. And I don't tend to be the person that's like, oh, we're stopping at a gas station, let's go in and get some snacks. That's
okay.
They're just so expensive at places like that, and
And
I'd
it's
rather
usually
not.
junk anyway.
It's usually junk. It's
Like you
just
hunt around for so long to try to find something good, and then it ends up being not even that great, and you're like, I should have just skipped it altogether.
yeah. So yeah, we just kind of whatever we have access to in the car is what we have access to, and I just don't snack very often. Um, and your mind is constantly busy with other things whenever you're on the road, like, oh, we need to make sure we turn there, or oh, am I keeping the driver entertained enough, or am I fulfilling all of the requests of the children,
Yes.
am I changing the music fast enough, or whatever the case may be. So it's like action is more focused on activity rather than food consumption. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know that any of that made sense, but I hope
It
you are
did.
blessed by it.
Yeah, it did make sense, and I totally agree, and, on one of my recent conversations with Jonathan, he was giving me strategies for vacation that he uses for himself and with his clients, and
Yeah.
not snacking was a big one,
Yeah.
and, he was talking about I it was 5 things, and I don't know if I'll be able to remember them all off the top of my head, but there was no snacking, there
Hmm.
was do some sort of activity,
Yeah.
exercise activity. What? What
You
just
win.
happened? You lost it and I have it.
You stole it from me. What is this weirdness? It's like we're in Alice in Wonderland.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Now, okay. Now this whole conversation just got derailed.
It did. It really did. How dare
Oh,
you steal the fun
wow.
gestures?
I didn't do it on purpose. Oh, no.
Okay.
You
I still have
got one.
it. I still have it, but I only have one hand. So I can only do one-handed things.
Oh my goodness, crazy. Okay. Okay, so not snacking, doing some kind of activity every day, uh, starting your meal with meat,
Yeah.
protein. Um, what else was it? Shoot, I should have these written down. I should have them like written on the back of my hand so I don't forget them all. I'm gonna have to go back and do that.
Yeah.
Um,
Get
oh,
them tattooed on the inside of
keep
your wrist.
There you go. There you go. There was if you're having carbs, just have carbs with 2 meals and keep 1 meal, keto carnivore. That
Sure.
only if you're adding carbs. Um, there was one more and I can't remember it. Anyways, so that seemed really helpful. Like I'm really going to focus on
Yeah.
those. Yeah.
And he tailored those suggestions based on the fact that you are kind of carb. Would you call yourself carb cycling or low carbing right now?
Right now, I'm low carbing. He had me carb cycling, 100 grams, 50 grams depending on my workouts. But
Sure.
because of some of the struggles I was having, we went to 100 grams of carbs every day. So it's the same every day.
Yeah.
Which has been working really well for me. I've been really happy. So
yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
And it is nice. Like carb cycling has its benefits, but just not having to switch it every day and like just to get into more of a rhythm with my eating has been so nice.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like you can find your rhythm and then go on autopilot for a little bit.
Exactly.
It's very cool.
So, and then the other thing he was talking about was how when you're on vacation, your access to food is just different. Like when you're at home, I mean, the kitchen's right there all the time, and you can just, do the drive-bys, and you get into these. I'm learning more about like the brain ruts that you can get into, and I've talked about that with picking up coffee when I'm out. Like every time I run errands, I'm like, I have to get a treat. I have to get my Starbucks or whatever, and it was I mean, obviously, it starts because it's delicious and I like it. But then it continues it continues to the degree it continues because my brain is like, okay, we're in the car, we're doing something, we have to go through that. And if like you feel the draw to do it, and it's like your brain like, okay, this is what we do that makes us feel good. And when we feel good, that probably means we're, healthier and gonna survive longer or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're gonna keep doing. And so you can have that, but then you can break those things also. So anyways, when you're going on vacation, sometimes it's like those things are just broken naturally because you're not walking past your pantry. You're not walking past the fridge, you're not on your regular routine. And so sometimes it can be really helpful. I think there's a couple different things that can help with like you said, not snacking and things like that, just because you're in a different environment. But there are pitfalls too, where it's like, oh, I'm on vacation. I can just go into the gas station and grab, whatever snack I used to love, or we're on vacation. So when we sit down to dinner, I might as well just eat the French fries and the milkshake because it's vacation. So there's like, there's like some benefits and like you get some extra help sometimes, but then also there's like
there's some drawbacks
to have to navigate, I guess.
For sure. Absolutely. I find that whenever we're going out to eat, I know that it can be a struggle for a lot of people to say, okay, well, my kid ordered a burger with fries and there are just a bunch of French fries right there. But for me, I just know that a single French fry is just not gonna satisfy. It's not going to be just one. It's going to be half the plate. And then it's like, well, we paid for the food. So instead of letting it go to waste, we should probably just eat all the food. And I think the idea of wasting is one of those that we kind of put more priority on, like, oh, we don't want to waste food. So we should just eat all the food. Instead of saying, you know what, that's not actually helping me. And the money is lost. Like the money is sunk. No matter what you do, you can't regain the value of that. So why are you going to go to the length of harming yourself further if you know that doesn't really make your body well? Instead, it's kind of a weird mind warp situation. So I think we tend to have a struggle with saying sunk costs are just sunk. We can't do anything about it. We're just going to move forward the best we can. Instead, it's, oh, I'll just have a nibble. Oh, well, a nibble turns into a whole plate. I personally try my best to find other things. Last night we went out to dinner and the girls did get burgers and French fries. And my husband and I, we shared steak, and you got to choose your side. So I opted for steamed broccoli and a side salad. And I was so glad whenever it came out that it didn't have croutons on top.
Yeah.
Because I was like, some things are worth the effort to say, I need this to be exactly this thing. Other things, it's like, well, I'm not deathly allergic to gluten. I'm not even hypersensitive to the effects of gluten. It's not going to send me off, with a stomach ache. So if there are crumbs, it's not the end of the world. But the act of having to pick those off and go forward is just one more thing, right?
Yeah.
Instead, there was nothing on it. And I was like, that's fantastic. There were only two options that I felt were viable for me, the broccoli and the salad. But there were loads of other ones that I would have loved to have chosen. I think did they have a sweet potato thing on there? They had like sweet potato fries. I love sweet potatoes. And those are one of those carb sources that I will very rarely, but I will indulge in that from time to time. And I could have justified like, you know what, we're out to dinner. It's not that often that we, get to go out as a family like that. Let's do that. And, let's get the sweet potato fries. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. That would have been just a spiral downward. And then all of a sudden you're sitting there like a mad woman trying to find Quest peanut butter cups on the side of the road.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not cost effective. And I think that the cost of food is a hindrance.
Yeah. It is amazing how your head can go to a different place. Like you said, looking for peanut butter cups on the road, and you're like, why am like all of a sudden my mind is just like taken over. And it actually, because you like eat the food because you're wanting to have a celebration, you're wanting it to be fun and enjoyable.
Yes.
Maybe it is in that moment, but like it's not fun when you're obsessing about peanut butter cups. Like that's not an enjoyable
That's right.
experience. And even when you eat them, this is what I experience. Even when I eat them, I still want them. Like I still want more of something. And then it's like, oh, I need to find something.
That's right.
And then I need to find something sweet. And it's like
back and forth.
I made my experience worse thinking I was making it better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I also find that tasting the foods that are not in my typical diet causes me to just be a fiend with all the snacks. I have a package of pepperoni and a whole package of pepper jack cheese and those pecans that Jared, sort of eked in here. And
so you could
here, I could actually like mentally taste them in my mouth. Instead, like normally at home, it'd be like, you know what, instead of actually making like real lunch, let's just do snacky lunch. And then all of a sudden you eat 2/3 of a package of pepperoni between you and your children. And you're like, that didn't go as far as I thought it did. I'm still hungry. I still need more. I still want more. But here it's like you're sitting down to have food, or it takes so much. Okay, we make food in the car because right now we're in the desert. There's not a spot to stop.
There's no peanut butter.
There are no peanut butter cups out here. But we've got stuff that we can make wraps with in the car. So making car lunch is a much greater task than it would be to make lunch at home.
Right.
So then we don't wind up snacking as much because it's like, okay, I ate, and yeah, I totally could go for some more food right now. And I have things that are okay for me to eat, but the effort that I have to go through to pass the food back and forth, to prepare food in my lap, to make sure I'm not getting a mess all over me. It's the cost is too great, and the value doesn't add up. Like it just doesn't make sense. So I don't know.
So maybe at home we need to do something to make food less accessible.
Maybe so, like closing the kitchen. Like, I'm sorry, kitchen is closed. No.
Some kind of obstacle course you have to get through to get the snacks instead of having them sitting out. I mean, maybe
that's right.
It's a new like business where we come into people's houses
parkour
and we set up
kitchen.
An obstacle course. Yeah, and so you have to exercise to get to the food.
Yes, 100%. Climbing up and over the
Yeah,
wall, over under for the poles, dipping down into a pit
yeah,
and then having to lift yourself up and out of it. And then you're like, I don't think it's worth that. Nope.
yeah.
Walk on the walking
I think
pad,
you're thinking
3,000
better.
steps.
It sounds like a reality TV show, actually. That would be awesome.
I think we need to make that TV show happen. Who do we pitch?
Yeah, exactly. Doing it. Um, let's see. So
Very
Sing It,
good.
yeah. Sing It says, it's just habits. On my way to Starbucks this morning, and it hit me how I was on autopilot, opted not to today. See, I love
Nice.
because there's nothing wrong with going to Starbucks,
Sure.
but you should be the one that makes the decision. Like it should
Yeah.
be, you shouldn't be a victim of, my
Habits.
my habits. So that I mean, Starbucks is not cheap. And if you're just doing it because you're just like telling you to do it every day, I mean, why? Break the
Yeah.
habit. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't ever buy coffee out because to me, the cost of it outweighs the enjoyment of the coffee. So,
Mm.
because I like the way that I make coffee at home, and I just feel like I just can't get it the same. And
Yeah.
it's not the most amazing coffee or anything, but it's still the way that I like it. And trying to spend, $4 to $7 on coffee out in the world, it just
It adds
seems
up.
like that's a pretty steep price tag. That's a
It
pretty
is.
steep price tag, but
It is. I think I just really like someone else making something for me.
we're not the same.
Yeah. No. No. Like there's just something about that where I'm like, wow, I'll pay you whatever you want.
Yes, please serve me. Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank
exactly.
you.
Exactly. In a cup that I can throw away and don't have to wash.
Ah, yeah, yeah. That is the nice part when you don't have to wash the things afterwards.
Yeah.
Um, I had another thought, but I lost it. So let's move forward.
Okay. Cindy said, I never snack at home, but when I'm on car trips, I feel the need to snack. That's one of those brain things. Yeah. And I'm interested to see how, like, what my brain does on this trip because
Yeah,
we haven't done a lot of road trips, but we always have, healthy snacks. Like, we don't just go crazy with junk food or anything.
yeah.
But we always have healthy snacks. So I'm like going to be really aware, which is, I think, a good thing going into it. Like, being able to like logically
Oh,
step back and just observe myself is going to be interesting
hmm.
to see, if I want to snack the whole time or what. But yeah, it's one of those brain things.
Well, and it's interesting because uh, Atomic Habits by James Clear, most people
Mhm.
are familiar with that book title. He talks a lot about habit stacking. And I think it's interesting that you can either use the power of habit stacking for good
Oh yeah.
or for detriment. And if you find that, when you're at home in the kitchen, you have the ability to snack, it's because you've habit stacked that together. Oh, I'm in the kitchen, I'm cleaning
Mhm.
off a counter. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to grab a nibble of cheese. I'm just going to
Yeah.
grab a nibble of a couple of pecans or, some sugar-free chocolate chips. I can just grab a little nibble while I'm in the pantry looking for something to go and make something healthy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's one of those things where those habit stacks can be for your detriment, and then they
Mhm.
break whenever you're in a positive environment or an environment where the cost is too great compared to the value of that habit.
Yeah. I remember when I
Those are weird
was
things.
I had a bunch of those perfect keto peanut butter chocolate chip bars, and they're so good. I had them down in the pantry in the basement, and I like
Yep.
every time I would walk down the stairs, I'd be like, I need to have one of those. And I'm like, this is so weird. Like I was working upstairs, I was doing all the things, didn't think about them at all. As soon as I start walking down the stairs, my brain's like, you need to have a peanut butter bar. And I was like,
You
I
needed
think
a reward. Treat yourself. You
yeah,
did it. You walked
you walk
downstairs
down
and you
the
need the
stairs.
energy to make it back up.
You might die if you don't, do the thing that you always do when you walk down the stairs.
You
So
might, and you don't want to find out in the wrong kind of way.
yeah. 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 And so like I remember listening to Laura Spath talk about she would always get treats at the gas station on her way to work
Oh,
or whatever. And so, like, even, for a long time, I don't know if still, but for a long time, it was like every time she'd get gas, it'd be like, oh, struggle to not go in. But it's like you were just talking about, you don't do that. I don't do that. That's never been a
Mm-hmm.
thing that I did. And so
Yeah,
my brain doesn't have that. Like my body doesn't have that memory. I have other things. I have
that's
the
right.
go to the grocery store, must get coffee.
Yeah.
Go to the pantry, must get pecans. It's like everyone has
Well,
their little things.
for me, it's, oh, we're gonna go somewhere, and we're gonna go anywhere. We're gonna drive into town, and it's gonna take the 15 minutes, and then it's gonna be a 3-minute chore to get done or errand to get done, and then 15 minutes back. That's over a half hour. I'd better grab a to-go cup of coffee from the house, plus some
Yes.
water, plus some we get,
Yes.
just grab all the drinks. Anything in a cup, let's bring it with us. That's
Yeah.
my bad habit.
Emotional support drinks.
All of my emotional support electrolytes, they've got to come with me. I might not make it if I don't have them.
Yeah. Lynette says, I was raised in a family that always took tons of treats and snacks on road trips. That's very common. There are a lot of families that do
Oh,
that.
yeah.
But now that I'm
It's a
older and
special
wiser,
thing.
I have to remind myself that I don't need to have them. Yes. Or I don't need them to have fun. Yes. It's those habits, those little brain habits that we just have to like speak truth to
Yeah.
and like look at, recognize it for what it is, and then make your own decision. Like I said, it's not bad to go to Starbucks. It's not bad to have
No.
tasty food in the car, but
Hmm.
you should be the one that is choosing it, and it should be ultimately for your good and the good of all the people around you.
Yeah.
If you choose to do that
Yeah.
or not, when you're a victim to it, or you feel like you can't control yourself with it.
Hmm.
That's where the damage is. And so it's never, I don't want to like put out there, it's bad to have tasty food on vacation, or it's bad to have
It's
something
really
different
not.
than you normally have. Um, None of that is what I want to communicate, but being able to be the one that, says, I'm choosing to partake in this or not, depending on what's going to serve you in the moment.
Hmm.
That's I think that's very freeing. Some people
Yeah.
find freedom in like just closing the door, saying, absolutely not,
Hmm.
no snacks in the car. And to them, that feels more free than where they were before being a slave
Sure.
to snacks in the car. Then other people can feel freedom by, being the one that makes the decision, having the thing, not letting it control you, kind of having you being the boss of it. And so
Yeah.
wherever you fall on that, whatever works with your lifestyle, do it as long as it's, serving you and the people
Well,
around
and
you.
as long, yeah. And it's one of those things where you have to decide what serves me best. Not just like, having car snacks keeps you awake on the road if you're driving a long distance. It's something for your hands to do.
Yes.
And so you're less bored. But if it's not serving you the best, that can be
Yeah.
problematic.
Yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
you know what we should have brought? We should have brought the little salty fidget spinners. Those would have been a
Oh,
good thing to
yeah.
have in your hands to play with.
Yep.
Just stay out of the snacks.
Yep. Something to keep you busy. I've learned that you can go see a movie and eat and drink nothing. Yes. It's funny because we never did movie snacks growing up because there were 6 kids in our family. And it was just,
They're so
if we,
expensive.
if we got to go see a movie, like that was a big deal. And to try to buy snacks on top of it, that wasn't going to happen. So I never grew up with that idea that I had to have XYZ treats at the movie theater. And
Yeah.
so now still, I go to the movies and I'm like, I don't need anything. Maybe I'll bring some beef jerky in my bag or something, but
Yeah.
did I say that out loud? Oops. But yeah, it's another one of those little brain things. It's like, if you just have always done that, your brain's going to say you should always do that.
Yeah. And I think that habit is actually one that's easier to slip into the whole like, oh, well, we didn't do this growing up, but it's kind of fun to snag popcorn or whatever for the kids. And then all of a sudden it's like every time we have to do that. And it's just,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the cost of those things always deters me.
Oh, me too. Yeah. I'm just like, no, we'll go home and make like 12 buckets of popcorn for cheaper.
Yeah, 23 cents to make
It'll taste
8,000
better
cups
too.
of. That's right. And it'll always be fresh.
Yeah, movie theaters really were smart because they picked a really cheap thing for them,
To
and they
associate with,
made it
yes.
so expensive. Yeah.
Super, super inexpensive.
Yeah. I need to buy Starbucks decaf in the bag or Keurig. No other coffee tastes like the Bucks. So few indulgences of late. Yeah. We all have our, things that we like. Infinitely Blessed says, like Lindsay, I prefer to make my own keto treats and it costs less. Yes. The few exceptions that I make are keto chow and Quest cookies. I keep the Quest cookies in a place that makes me work to get them. Hey, there you go. There you go. You got it.
It's smart unless it's at the bottom of the stairs. Because you're not
Oh,
working that hard to get them at the bottom of the stairs.
no. No, we got to do something about that. I
Yeah.
actually haven't bought those peanut butter bars for months because I was like, well, it's one of those things where it's like I could figure out how to moderate it, and eventually I'll have them again. It's not like I'm saying I can never have them, but I was like, they're expensive.
It's not this time,
and I struggle to not want to eat the whole box. And there are only a few things that are like that for me now, and so I'm like, don't eat it.
Yeah.
Make my life a little easier in one way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
Make
well,
it
we
simple.
have been on here for 30 minutes. So we're going to keep it
and
short
I didn't
today.
drop completely.
I know. Well, it's like when we were sitting beforehand, you dropped out like 3 times. And I was like, oh, dear.
Yep.
But then we just sat here for 30 minutes. No issues. So yay.
Hot dog. We better not push our luck, though.
Yeah, seriously. All right. So thanks for joining us. Next week, don't forget to tune in next week. It's going to be a very, very fun week.
It'll be so special.
And that's all I'll say about that.
Indeed.
All right. Bye, guys.